The Rabble. Chicken said to Hen, "The nuts are ripe, let's go up the mountain together and eat our fill before the squirrel takes them all." "Yes," replied the Hen, "let's enjoy ourselves together." They went off together and, because it was a bright day, they stayed until evening. Now, I don't know if they had eaten so much that they were too full or if they had become so arrogant, but they didn't want to walk home and the chicken had to build a small cart out of nutshells. When it was finished, the Hen sat inside and said to the chicken, "You can just harness yourself up." "No," said the chicken, "that would be fine with me. I'd rather walk home than let you harness me up." "That wasn't our bet. I'll gladly be the coachman and sit on the box, but I won't pull it myself." As they quarreled, a duck waddled by and said, "You thieves, who gave you permission to go into my nut orchard? You'll pay for this." The chicken didn't hesitate and attacked the duck vigorously, finally pecking it so fiercely that it begged for mercy and willingly pulled the wagon as punishment. The chicken sat on the driver's seat and they galloped away. "Run as fast as you can, duck." After traveling a short distance, they encountered two pedestrians, a sewing needle and a knitting needle. They called out to stop and said that it would soon be pitch dark, and they wouldn't be able to walk any further, especially since the road was so dirty. They had been at the tailor's tavern before the gate, and had delayed themselves with beer. The chicken, as they were thin people who didn't take up much space, let them both climb in, but they had to promise not to step on its feet. Late in the evening, they arrived at an inn, and since they didn't want to travel any further that night, and the duck wasn't good at walking and kept falling from side to side, they decided to stay. At first, the innkeeper objected, saying his house was already full, and he also thought that they might not be important passengers. However, they sweet-talked him, saying he could have the egg that the chicken had laid on the way, and he could also keep the duck that laid one every day. Eventually, he relented and they lived it up in luxury. Early the next morning, just as it was getting light and everyone was still asleep, the chicken woke up the Hen, fetched the egg, pecked it open, and they ate it together, but threw the shells onto the fireplace. Then they went to the sewing needle, who was still sleeping, grabbed it by the head, and stuck it in the innkeeper's seat cushion, while the knitting needle was stuck in his towel. They flew off over the heath, leaving everything behind. The duck, who wanted to sleep under the open sky and stayed in the courtyard, heard them buzzing off, perked up, and found a stream to swim down, which was faster than the wagon. A few hours later, the innkeeper got up, washed himself, and tried to dry himself with his towel, but the needle tore his face. Then he went to the kitchen to light his pipe, but as he approached the hearth, the eggshells flew into his eyes. "Today everything is hitting my head," he said, and sat down angrily in his grandfather chair. Oh dear. He was even more badly hit by the sewing needle and not on the head. He became very angry and suspected the guests who had arrived so late the night before, and when he went to look for them, they were gone. He swore never to let such ragtag people into his house again, who ate a lot, paid nothing, and on top of that, played pranks in return.